to be honest.
What made you go back? What made you go back as head coach?
Because I wanted to try and leave the Lions in a place where I felt they should be. I
Hmm.
wanted players to feel the same way about the Lions that I felt as a player and as a coach, and that other groups of players before have felt. And so um, I did the same. I was out a year early. Um, got Gats involved. Gats and I by that time had known each other for 10 years, and um, he's got a great understanding of players and people as well. And we did the same. The coaches we picked the squad. We didn't vote on anything. We discussed everything. Um, and what we were looking for was, I've kept saying not necessarily the best players, but the best players for Alliance Tour, and that makes good people.
And
And I think you can't get away from the fact that attitude and how you approach it, how you come to terms with disappointment, if you're not in the test team, all the other bits that are so different on Alliance Tour. Um, and I wanted just one last go to say, look, I want to try and just put out there what I really genuinely believed players who were putting Alliance jersey on in 2009 had the opportunity to feel.
and Paul O'Connell as captain, a
Yeah,
reflection of the job that Jono had done, or just fulfilling those criteria, or a combination of both, probably.
yeah, a bit both. I was really impressed with him in 2005. Um, he had a natural presence. He'd got respect of the
He
players,
wasn't
and
captain though,
although he
wasn't he? He
wasn't,
wasn't captain of Ireland.
no, Brian O'Driscoll was, but um, you know, Brian had had a lot of pressure in New Zealand. He got injured in that Test match, and so there was huge disappointment. I wanted him to actually just be on Alliance tour, enjoy it, and not have that responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And that Paul O'Connell, for me, again, front five, respected by all the players, and I knew Brian O'Driscoll anyway as a natural leader would just be great support for him as he was for Brian in the Irish team. One reason why Irish rugby changed was that group of players who supported each other so closely. And actually, I rang Brian before any announcements to say that I was picking Paul O'Connell as captain, and he was over the moon. He wanted to ring him up and congratulate him. I said,
Not
for,
yet.
for goodness sake, don't do it yet. I haven't told him,
Yeah, yeah,
So
put a bet on first. No, no, yeah, right.
so yeah, and he was great on the tour, and um, I did, well, hopefully, in the end, it's only players will know or can say whether they feel that there was as good a Lions environment there as could be.
Well, we've got some audio for the loss in the first test. That's played through, so we'll imagine that's done. But you lose the opening test match. Very close again, 26-21. I remember the scrum was, struggling
Yeah.
a bit. Again, you've got to deal with that. What were your thoughts, having come out, on other Lions tours, on the positive and negative side? So nothing's unfamiliar for you, but did you think it was eminently able to be turned around?
Yeah, I think we were probably a bit lightweight again in certain positions, and we made some changes. Phil Vickery had got on the wrong side of the referee. I don't know why, and I think some of that was just a viewpoint from a referee, to be honest. But once a referee sees it one way, and I just said to Gats after we've got to change Vicks because we've got to change what the referee thinks he's looking at.
Yeah.
And so we made those changes. In the second test, I think Gats and I both felt we should have picked Simon Shaw ahead of Alan Wynne Jones at the time, actually, who was just coming on to, the international, the test match scene. And Shawsey, to me, still remains one of the most underrated
Oh,
second
completely.
rows.
Completely.
He was unbelievable the second and third tests. He just Victor Matfield. They just well, suddenly they were not a threat. The lineup, everything looked different.
Mm.
And Shorzy had two unbelievable Test matches,
Well, it
and
might.
so we knew we'd probably made again a selection error by not just putting that power in from the word go.
Well, I mean, it might have been different if Berger had been sent off when he should have been, for gouging. That was, I mean, it
Yeah,
was. So I remember this distinctly because I'd gone over to Ireland to speak at a Carphone Warehouse sort of weekend, which was to do with the Lions, and so we watched the test in a pub with their employees. It was a good day. It was a good earn actually, and I remember thinking at the time, how is that not a sending off? But then, the last play of the game with Ronan O'Gara. Now, there's nothing personal, but I remember saying in the debriefing afterwards to the person, of all the things he could have done, there was one thing that he should not have done, and that's what he did. He could have done anything else, and it'd have probably been okay, but he didn't.
yeah.
You get the penalty, and what happens. What were your thoughts at the instant time as the ball went over, and then trying to deal with the dressing room in losing in that way?
Yeah, it's still probably the most physical Test match I think I've ever seen. That second Test in Pretoria was um, unbelievable game of rugby, um, and we played some great rugby that day. I mean, the same in the first Test. I mean, it was the rugby we were playing was probably as good in Test matches as it had been for a while. Um, so we were ahead. They came back. You know, we lost both props and both centres. So suddenly, it was make-up time and Stephen Jones kicked well that day, and we got back to 25 all. And I think, we all felt that with the changes on the field and everything else, just let's take the draw and go for broke in the third Test. So when the penalty was caught, then I'm thinking that's all I'm thinking. He's going to kick this from
Yeah,
10 meters inside his own half
yeah.
on a ground he knows well. Um, so it was a big disappointment, and I'd said to the players beforehand, I've never seen Simon Shaw so upset at all, and the players. You're looking at a group of players who've given absolutely everything for a jersey and have come out of it, just 3 points the wrong side of a result. And um, I'd said to them before the game, it's not the jersey they put on, it's the jersey you take off that you remember. And I'm looking at them all in that dressing room. It's probably the lowest I think I've ever felt in a dressing room that day.